request the chairperson. The session is handed over to chairperson, Dr. A. Maheswaran, sir.
Thank you very much. Respected our college president, Sri S.V. Subramanian sir, Vice President Karpia sir, Secretary Ramanathan sir, Director and members of our college management, respected our Principal Sivakumar sir, Vice President Bala, then Program Convener Murugesan and Krishnan. Very good morning to all. Our college IQAC conducting FDP program very effectively from tomorrow. I would like to welcome all who came to participate in this online faculty development program. Today, Dr. C. Ilango sir going to present his talk on this title, Research Journey Towards Patent. Really, he selected a wonderful topic. Everyone knows Dr. C. Ilango sir, former associate professor of our maths department. He produced nearly 20 PhD scholars, including myself, and he published 68 research papers in various reputed journals. And on the behalf of everyone present here, I heartily welcome Dr. C. Ilango sir. Sir, welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Now it is time to hand over the session to Ilango sir. Sir, now you can proceed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
First of all, I thank the management, the principal, the IQS coordinators, head of the Department of Mathematics, and all faculty members of our college for giving me this opportunity. First of all, I like to thank the principal, management, and President S. Subramaniam, Vice President Kirpaya, Secretary Ramanathan, and members of the management committee, Principal Dr. Sivakumar, and Vice Principal Balamurugan, and the IQS coordinators, Krishnan, Murugesan, and all other faculty members. First of all, you know, my topic is research. How to do research, and what is research, and how to do research, and what is the end product of the research. This is the prime theme of my lecture. And as I told you, research is a passion. Okay, my dear teachers, young faculty members, teaching and research are both a hands and gloves, and one cannot act with the other. Okay, the teaching will perfect the research, and research will make a perfect action of teaching. So, my dear teachers, young teachers of Automobile Planters Association College, and this is a right opportunity to give you some tips on how to do research and how to develop your career in future. Okay. First of all, I would like to present my slides, some of the slides. Then we'll go for other part of the lecture. Okay. Okay, are you able to see the slide? I think.
Very clear.
Research, carry, and patent. This is very important. So in the last part, I gave you patent. Getting a patent is very much needed. For example, I can tell you recently, one college, an engineering college in Tindukal district, that is PSNA college, there's a EEE department got DBA accreditation. Okay, a department will get accreditation from the AICTE only because of one patent. Okay, a department got recognition only because of a patent acquired by the members of the staff and student combined work. Okay, that is why we prefer research, a journey towards a patent. That is very important. So I would like to tell you regarding this in the next session. Here, now let us come to the, what is research? This is my plan of talk and why it is need of the hour. Research as a career. So you please take the research as a career. So that will develop you and it will definitely put you in a right place. Whether you in future you become a professor or you may become a researcher, and everything depending upon the research and interest that you shown on your subject. And next is how to get a good research problem. That itself is a very big problem to our youngsters. So I would like to say, if you want to get a good research problem for social science students, for teachers or students, you don't want, it is not necessary to wander along with your guide or supervisor or blacking your teacher's home. It is not enough. You please go to the villages with a notebook and a pen. There you can see plenty of problems, that is people's problems. And you, so please inquire that problem. Okay, what is the root cause of the problem and how it initiated, and then try to solve that problem. That will be definitely a boost to your topic. So topic cannot be decided or imposed by somebody else or your guide or supervisor on you. That should be inherited from your mind and your thought. That is very important. That is why if you want to do a research in real social science, go to the villages of India and with a paper and pencil, and you can get a lot of problems and try to do it and then fix your guide. Okay, this is my kind advice. Then you can have an inspiration on research, and research will become a passion, and finally you learn to the award and a patent. And another important thing is transparency in the research data. That is very important. Nowadays, there is no transparency in data. I know most of the social science research people, that is from the commerce department or from the economics or any other faculty members, when they go to got a topic and collect, they want to collect two kinds of data. One is primary data, other one is secondary data. Then we go for the primary data to the industry. The most of the industry is not ready to reveal the data. There is no transparency. It's a very pathetic situation in India. That is why nowadays in our country, we are unable to contain this pandemic situation, that is COVID-19. It is spreading like anything. It is sweeping like a tsunami, but we are unable to contain it. The reason is no transparency in data is not there. Everywhere there is a hidden data. If you go to any industry, there are two kinds of account. One is first account, the other one is second account. And this is a country, and how we are overcoming this problem, I have no idea. Okay, now let us come to next thing, open problems. Even now, there are so many problems in the open air. As for my field is concerned, it is mathematics. You people know there are so many unsolved problems even in now. Still it is persisting for last 200 years. A single person is unable to solve a very simple problem that I will show you in my slide in the next 2 minutes. Okay, that's our open problems are there. But taking an open problem for an initial researcher is not advisable. Okay, you don't waste most of your time on the initial open problem. And there are so many senior scientists that are struggling their head towards the open problem. Finally, they are unable to do it. And it is the fate. But initial researcher, you take a very simple problem, research problem, and do it. And finally, after completion of PhD, you go for open problems. That is the best advice. And I will tell you some open problems. And next one is types of research. There are so many kinds of research are there. Some of the research are immediate effect, immediate application, and immediate use to the people. That research, for example, that is, we can say that vaccine for COVID-19, and these are immediate effect. We need of the aware, so they are applied research, and they have immediate applications and immediate use. Another kind of research are called fundamental research that we people are doing on fundamental research and combined with applied. Fundamental research is concerned, people say that fundamental research in mathematics, there is no use of data. When I do a research in algebra or analysis, we don't need a lab. There is no recurring expenditure, little sort of like no fixed expenditure. All these are there. We need only a paper and pencil and your mind. So it is a creative idea, creative scientific logic idea. We do some algebra, and we don't know whether it have use. As a mathematician, we are doing research, but we are inventing so many formulas, structure, mathematical structure, but without knowing what is the use of it. But in future, after 100 years, some scientist, somebody from computer science or somebody from biology and somebody from chemistry or physics, they will come and apply our result. Okay, they will appreciate our result and their research will become very easy because of our tools. That is the very fantastic idea of mathematics. That is why the mathematics research is called, it's a very joke is that doing research in mathematics, nothing but trying to catch a cat, that too is a black color in a dark room. That is our mathematics. We have no tools. We have to create our own tools. And we people create tools like mean, median, mode, and how to find correlation, regression formulas. All these are derived according to some mathematical model. If your study fits to that model, you apply that and you can get so many results. But I will tell you something in the next 2 slides. Then teaching versus research, that is a very important thing. What do you mean by teaching and research? So whether a teacher has to do research or a researcher should teach, both will happen, definitely. But there is a correlation. If you find internationally, it is accepted that the correlation between teaching and research is very less. It is 0.3. Teachers are different. There are some best teachers, but who are not researchers. There are best teachers, are not good teachers. So the correlation is very less, even though at present the managements and academic administrators, they want their apply pressure on the teachers to do research, and then only, and it will be recognized and rewarded, and for our academic promotions, this is need of the hour. And the final one is patent process. How to get patent? There are 5 steps to get patent. So I have some amount of experience in this area because my daughter got patent for making a hybrid solar auto, okay, solar powered auto vehicle. And for that, the application was filed by myself and my daughter, and we gone to Chennai and Guindy. There is an office, patent office in Guindy. You give application and then you application the proper sense, and you have to wait for at most 5 years, then only you can get a patent, because there are so many processes there that I will discuss within 5 minutes. Okay, now let us come to the next slide. What is real research? That I have already told all these things. Research is conducted for the purpose of contributing towards science and a systematic collection and compilation of data. Research should be done systematically. And for research is concerned, review is very important, because there should be a reviewer. The reviewer is very important. If your reviewer give an idea and you can correct your course of direction of research according to the reviewer. That is why the publication is very important. Don't go for paid publications. Don't go for paid publications. You go for a few that is international reputed journals with peer-reviewed journals are very important, and research is a passion. You do it as it is. Okay, now I would like to tell you what is the view of Newton's. Newton is a man, is a father of science, and he told that according to his view, I don't know what I may repair to the world, but to myself, I seem to have been only like a boy playing on the seashore. So, Newton, he is the only man who worked on physics and mathematical fundamentals, Newton's laws. And when he's seeing an apple, it is coming down, and he thinks in a different way. Why the apple from the tree is coming down? Why did it go up? So that is why he got an idea of gravitation. There should be a force. And all these things. But he is a simple man. He says that, no, I am only a boy who is playing on the seashore, and I can get some pebbles and some ordinary cells. I found some of them. But people say that it is a great discovery because it was undiscovered before me. Before that, Newton, it was not undiscovered. That is why Newton's law and gravitational force and everything become new. And calculus is also new. But there is a controversy between Newton's and another person. When you are doing research, according to me, research itself is a competition. Just like you are running a race, when you run in one direction, another person also want to take over it. Okay. And who is that person? I can say another person. He is called Leibniz. George Leibniz is a mathematician. He is also a mathematician. He worked on the parallel. And there was a confrontation between these two persons, Newton and Leibniz. But fortunately or unfortunately, Newton won the race because he recorded everything. That is why he told, if you have a research idea or research paper, you please publish it. Otherwise, it will perish. It has no use. Newton is the man who recorded everything, and Leibniz has not recorded, and he published in the later stage. So the credit goes to Newton, and even though two people worked simultaneously in the contemporary world. Okay, the same idea of law of motion. And okay, now let us come to the next slide. Now, research as a career. If you see a research person in a lab, whether it is a chemistry lab or biotechnology lab, and where the people who is a scientist in cinema, you can see a scientist, he looks like an old man wearing an old class, and it looks like an awkward situation, and having a what, and his eyes are highly bloodshot eyes, because always looking at the equipments and on the microscopes and reading and writing, recording the readings and everything. And finally, his career become rewardless. In the sense of monetary sense, the scientists throughout the world are very low. Monetary sense, their career advancement is very low, whereas where mind satisfaction is more important. That is why, my dear teachers, you please don't do research for the purpose of promotion or something. You don't go to the guide to get a degree, to get some idea, research, and add new knowledge to the existing knowledge. And for that, but if you have a passion towards research, you do research. Otherwise, don't go to that side. But that side is something hard. So in the slide itself, the last second sentence you can read. Too much of caricature, perhaps, but still a plastic of a profession. There are scientists is looking like a caricature. Okay, it has been is created as an accurate picture is given about a scientist. But even though he has the pleasure of getting pure truth of science over personal reward, you don't go for personal rewards. That research is not a research. So research should be done for the sense of the research, but don't do it for money. Another thing I have to tell something about what is the present nature of research throughout the world. So when a senior researcher, then he is dealing with, okay, he is talking with the junior researcher, and there will be a conflicting situation. The junior researchers are always looking at the cell phone, okay? They are doing video game and virtual video games and other things. But whereas an old man, a researcher, he cannot do all these things. He is always concentrating on research, and so there is a generation gap. Okay, every year, 6 new PhD. Now, what is the competition? You look at the competition, everybody has PhD degree. Every year, 6 new PhD graduates. Why? For every academic post. You please remember, if you apply for academic posts in Indian universities or India colleges, everywhere, there are 6 PhDs are there for one post. You know, 1:6. That's a huge ratio. And how can you get it? That is by your work, publishing papers, and your work on the subject, your foot on the subject, and that is it. And how can you publish leading journals have rejection rates above 90%? If you send a paper to a reputed journal like Elsevier, Taylor and Franklin, and some other papers, that is Springer Verlag, and all these papers, and how much percentage of papers are accepted? Only 10%, 90% rejection. But don't think this 90% are rejected only because of bad work. Your work is good, but unfortunately, it is not up to the publication level. You should do some more research. You should produce some more workable result, and that should be interesting to the review committee. That's all. You don't think your career is completely spoiled. It is okay. 90, if it is rejected, okay, you don't go for research. No. 90% papers are rejected to boost you to enter into the other 10%. Are you clear? So they are activating you to put this 90% of paper in the 10% schedule. And that is why it has been rejected. It is not to discourage you. So you take it as a step towards further research. And research papers are not negative results, only 14% of them are negative results. And others are always having one. Another thing I told you, publish your research findings immediately, otherwise it will perish. What do you mean by perish? It will, in Tamil, it is aligible. It has no use. Just like a fruit. Perish food. It is of no use. And therefore, you please try to publish. That is more important. And also, when you are searching taking a topic, that topic should be a media coup. Immediately it should be catched by the people, then you get fame. So if you want to become a good researcher with fame, you select a topic with a hot topic, and just like COVID-19 and related, and how it is spreading, and what is the mathematical model, whether it is Markov process or whether it is a Markov decision process, and whatever the process can be applied for the spreading of COVID-19, that you have to do, and collect data. Nowadays, collecting data itself is very dangerous. Okay, if you go to the village and collect data for COVID-19, they will put a stone on you. And there are so many other complexities are there. Even though if you are able to do a research, it should be an eye-catching one, and you get published that paper should be get published. For that you have to do. Now let us come to the publication level. There is another problem. To get published, you need experience. Okay, it is just like a vicious cycle. Look at this. To get published, if you want your paper to be get published, you need an experience. If an experienced man write a paper, it will be immediately accepted because already he has published so many papers in the standard journals. So people in the review committee will immediately accept, oh, somebody's paper. Okay, already he has some experience and publish it. And whereas, but to get experience, you need to get published. Look like this. We need an experience. To get published, we need experience. How can you get experience? For that, you have to get published. So that is a vicious cycle. Just like if you want a job, you have an experience. To get an experience, what you need? You need a job. Just like that. This is also a vicious cycle. How can you enter into this vicious cycle? That is your questions. Now let us come to this. This I can skip. What I told you that transparency, most of the research in social science or whatever it may be, it is not getting a fruit. Finally, you are getting wrong information or wrong interpretation because the research data and research, your research ideas should be somewhat shared with others. But unfortunately, throughout the world, people, because of plagiarism, if you have some research idea and you publish it, before that you share with your friend or somebody else or your scientist, co-scientist, and they will get the idea and they publish and they get the name. Okay, so the people nowadays, our researchers and teachers, they don't want to share their experience with others. That's a problem. That is a trust problem. But actually, if you share your idea with others, and that's also genuine, and you can get more idea, you can get a right. So, some of the researchers, they are giving partial data to others. They don't, some of the major ideas they guided, they kept silent or secret, and other unwanted data given to other scientists. So with that data, they will come to the wrong conclusion. Therefore, finally, the research idea, finally, research area becomes spoiled. So research is concerned, transparency is very important. So you share your data with others, with your research group. That is more important. And that is not going on nowadays. So that I told in the last, only sharing part of it sent the persons and full errands. Finally, your research area become polluted. You are doing a research in one area, and that area has so many data, and that data should be shared to the peer group, those who are doing in that area. Otherwise, and if you partially hiding something and send it to partial data, and the output will be wrong, and finally you may get back the wrong idea. Okay, now I come to the how to get a good research problem. A good research problem would have the following characteristics. What are the characteristics of the good problem? It should address the gap in the knowledge. Okay, if you want to get a good research problem, first you do the recent research contributions of the your field scientist, and then you select the correct area. If there is a gap, definitely when you're reading the research articles again and again, there should be a gap between the research papers and the ideas, and you catch that idea, that gap, and you start your research from that area. So actually, there are so many positive results. competitive field. You see, research become a competitive field. You got one research idea, that is a gap. Somebody else from some other country, in Germany or in France, they also got the same idea. Just like your patent. When you go for applying for patent, same patent is applied by somebody else in the Italy or somebody in Europe countries. Then only there's a conflict comes. And just like that, your pressure, okay, growing pressure and positive results. Science is a competitive field. You don't think you are only man, you are working on this. So many thousands and thousands of people are working on the same field. That you should have in mind. When you going for civil service examination, IAS examination, what happened? You think you are not the only competitor. Your competitor is living in Kashmir. He is living in a small village. Another competitor is living in Bombay. Another one is in Calcutta. So many competitors. Within that competitors, you have to win. And the same happens in research also. You don't think it is an affair between you and your guide. It is an affair between you and the co-scientists or co-researchers throughout the world. It may not be the case in the case of social research people like economics and people, other commerce people. They are taking topics in a particular area, that is in Dindigul district or Theni district. You are confining your research area to Tamil Nadu or Kerala or something, then your competitor may be less. Whereas you go for science research or mathematics, physics or chemistry or some other computer science, your competitors are spreading throughout the world. So the lab work is very much hard and you have to do it. So in future, unless you do research, academic research, you cannot become a professor. Okay, your teaching profession will become a career, and in future you will become a good teacher and also a good researcher, and everything will be depending upon your wandering into the subject and your communication with the students. So as the teachers are concerned, they have another source of getting research idea, that is your students. So you allow your students to ask questions. That is very important. When you are teaching in the class a particular subject, whether it is operation research or accountancy or some other marketing research and whatever marketing or any other managerial economics and whatever may be the subject, when you teach a subject, you allow your students to ask questions. Students are best researchers. From their questions only, you can get so many research ideas. Very clear? So, please allow your students to ask questions. You don't think it is a hurdle to your teaching, and that is the best idea to get research idea. And a good so fixing a research problem. So as I told you, as social science researchers, you don't go to the guide's home or to the research institutions or libraries. These are all secondary. First, you go to the village and interact with the people and select a topic, and that will give you a right problem. Okay, now I can come to a problem. There are so many problems in the world. It is in the internet also. I can now you see it's a 4-color conjecture. This is still it is unsolved problem. This may be a very simple problem, I can tell you. So you are all not science-related teachers, only a hand picking up science teachers, and also most of you are social scientists, even though this problem is very much interesting. You look at this picture. What is this? This is our world map. Okay. World map, there are so many countries are put together. Some of the countries have border with other countries. You look at our India has border with China. It's more than 3,000 kilometers. That is why there is a problem. And we have border with Pakistan and Burma and so many other countries. Now the question is, the world has more than 256 countries. Throughout the world, more than 256 countries are there. Then the question is, how many colors? What is the minimum number of colors needed to color all the countries so that no two adjacent countries have the same color? This is still a research problem. No mathematicians have solved it. It's a very simple problem. Take an old map, take color pencil. How many colors are needed? Okay, the number of colors you can use. Maximum, at the maximum, you can use so many colors, 10 colors, 15 colors, or 20 colors you can use, whatever the color. But what is the lower bound of the colors you can use? So that the condition is the coloring should be proper, that is no two adjacent countries have the same color. How many colors are needed? Anyone, please answer. The mathematics, I think mathematics teachers are there. You tell me. So now you count the colors there. Blue, yellow, red, violet, and some other color. Or green, or this one. Blue, light blue. Only 4 colors are used. Look at this. What may be adjacent countries? 2 countries are should be adjacent. Only one, they have at least a line border. You look at India and China, they have at least a line border. Therefore, you have to give different colors. For China, it is yellow. Here it is red. Okay. Now, you tell me how it is. Can you prove this mathematically? The 4 colors are needed to color the world map. Still, it is an open problem. But in 1986, 2 persons, Apple and Hacken, 2 computer science people, this problem was solved by computer science people by writing an algorithm. And so there are 5 important steps regarding getting patent. Okay, what are the steps? First, you understand your invention. Even though you invented something, your invention should be clearly mentioned. And you research your invention and what part of this should you get protection. Okay, in the part of protection, clear. Okay, then only you can apply for patent. And draft your patent application in a proper manner. And finally, you get wait for some more years to get a formal response and hearing. Okay, and with this, I conclude my lecture. My dear teachers, I thank all for the patient hearing. Thank you.
Dr. C. Ilango sir, for his wonderful talk on research journey. Really a big thank to our chief guest, Dr. C. Ilango sir, for giving inspiring and motivational talk on the topic research journey. Thank you. He explained what is the research, what are the research methods, various methods of research, and what are the tools, what are the methods we have to use it for research. Really, these concepts are very, very useful to all scholars, very informative. Thank you. I am sure the scholars will have a lot to take away from this speech. Now, in the end, I would like to thank all faculty members all faculty members and scholars spared their valuable time to share with us and made a success of it. Finally, I would like to thank our principal sir, our convener team, Muriation and Christian sir, to give this great opportunity to me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot to one and all participated in this FDP program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you very much.